This Tuesday's tale is from the Anishanabe, or the Ojibwe people, around the Great Lakes in Canada, back of the literal Big Turtle Island. This is Nanabozho and the Wild Geese. One day, a long time ago, the great trickster Nanabozho was wandering through the woods, looking for mischief, when he came to the shore of a small lake. Suddenly he heard a great commotion overhead. He looked up and saw a flock of geese. The geese were weary from their journey from the north, where they had spent the summer, and were whirling overhead, preparing to land on the lake. Nanabozho hurried in the direction of their flight and saw the birds come to rest on the water with a great flurry and folding of wings. He thought of what a delicious feast the birds would make. But first he had to come up with a scheme to capture as many geese as possible. For if he dashed among them, he would catch only one or two, going quickly but quietly back into the Twokamak, the forest. He peeled Nipmuc word, not anishanabe. He peeled off strips of cedar bark and made a long rope. Then he slipped quietly back into the water. Being careful not to disturb the weary birds, he swam under them and tied their legs together with his cedar rope. At the same time, he tied each goose to the next one, so that he could pull them all up on shore together. At first, all went well, for Nanabozho was so cunning and swift that the geese did not notice him or know what was happening. But his greed finally got him into trouble. Instead of being happy with a few geese, he went to tie them up, the whole flock. Just as he was finishing, he had to come up for air. He made such a loud whoosh that he frightened the geese. The first goose to fly up was in the middle of the rope, and all the others followed. As they rose from the lake, they formed a V, because they were tied together, and Nanabozho dangled at one end. He shouted to the birds to stop, but the geese only beat the air more desperately with their strong grey wings. Just then the birds flew over a stretch of soft, swampy ground. Nanabozho let go of the rope with a shout and landed in a bed of oozing mud. As for the geese, they continued on their way, still flying in a V-shape because of the rope that joined them all together. Wild geese have been flying that way ever since, as you can see if you look up into the autumn sky when they go, calling past. Some think they can hear a note of laughter in their cries as they mock Nanabozho for falling in his trick. It was not long before Nanabozho forgot the foolish side of his adventure. All he remembered that he was flown through the air. He made up a song celebrating his feat, a song he never tired of singing. Hey, a flocks of wild geese up in the sky. Hey, Nanabozho flew as far and as high. And the people listened respectfully to Nanabozho's song, but whenever he was out of hearing, they sang a different one. High in the autumn sky, wild geese are calling, wild geese are calling, down from the autumn sky. Nana is falling, Nana is falling. And that was the story of Nanabozho and the geese. The end.